Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 5 Minutes Podcast. Today, I'd like to talk about the squad. And I know that many of you know squad on the agile environment, but I will talk about that. But I want just to go back to the basics. Squad is a common term using in military. Army, Marines, Air Force, they use the concept of squads for quite a while. And what is a squad? A squad is a cross-functional team. It means different competencies. It's not everybody with one single expertise, but different expertise that operates with autonomy. So they operate, I don't want to say isolated, but they have a clear autonomy to make the decisions and the best judgment to do only one thing, to accomplish a specific mission. So if you know these 3 points, you know what I'm talking about, a squad. Cross-functional team, autonomous, and with a clear mission, a clear target, and a clear objective. And this is why when we translate this concept from the military environment, where, for example, someone is expert in explosives, another one in communication, another one in hacking, and they combine their effort, for example, to do a special operation, a special military operation. This is a perfect example of squad. In the project management, we can do absolutely the same. And I know that some of you will ask me, okay, but squad can I use only in agile? The answer is no. Squad is to give you agility on what you're doing. Every time you need cross-functional competency, autonomy, and a mission specific, you can use a squad. And in agile, we call this maybe squad because of the Spotify model that make this term very famous, but also a Scrum team. And they are very, very similar. And you use them every time you need these competencies. Let me give you an example. Recently, I was interviewing professionals, executives from Ambev, the beverage company, and the beer, very famous for the beer. And during the COVID crisis in Brazil, they used the concept of squad to build hospitals and to support building hospitals or to relocate procurement services. And they use this concept. It's just an example. So you don't need to think that it's only software development that will benefit from the squad concept. No, every single one will benefit. And if you want to call it squad, you can. If you don't want to, you just call it whatever name you want to call. Just remember the concept. And what makes a good squad and turn it into a great, outstanding squad? And I can identify 3 topics. Maybe you will not agree with all of them, but based on my experience, I think that they are very relevant. First is the cohesion and the bond among the team members. Of course, everybody will say, oh, people are the very relevant asset. I know this, but what I want to share here is that you need to have a group of people that know how to work together. Sometimes you have excellent, brilliant people, extremely competent people that are not able to work in a team environment. Unfortunately, they don't work, they don't cooperate well. So you need to take care of the bond of the team. And this drives me to a very relevant point. I don't like to make changes on the composition of a squad. Usually what I do, when the squad finish that specific mission, I provide the squad another mission and another mission and another mission. Why? Because then I don't lose the energy of that team. Because over time, this team will be so strong working together that they can accomplish a lot of things. So I may challenge people to improve or I make some adjustments, but only when it's really needed. Because when people know each other, they really know how to operate very well and you create this bond. The second, you may not agree with that, but try as much as you can to keep the team in the same time zone. I know with COVID, I know with people working remotely, I know with global team, this is challenging. But try as much as you can. Because when you have someone in the Pacific time and someone, in Central European time, and there is a 9-hour time difference every single day, it's very hard to work in a collaborative way on a day-to-day basis. I know maybe some people will disagree with that, but if you can try to create these small teams, and just to remember, a squad is usually between 6 and 10 people, this small team, as close as you can from each other. And this drives me to the third point. And the third point is very related to the second, is communication. A fantastic squad has a very strong sense of communication, a very strong sense of how they interact with each other, how they share information, and it's how they do their daily scrum if they are using scrum. How do they meet? How do they evaluate their own work using retrospective? So they know, they have open communication. And this is why I said it's very related, because for you to have a daily communication, open communication, talk to people all the time, it becomes very challenging if there is a 10-hour time difference every single day. So this is what brings us a lot of challenge. And finally, this squad should always have the support of an agile coach and someone that can help this group to perform and help this group to operate. Is it the boss of the group? No, it's not the boss of the group. Usually you have a leader, and usually the leader is the product owner that will drive the direction of the development of the product. However, it's not a boss relationship. It's far more an autonomous and independent and self-motivated team. This is what makes really a great squad. And you can see this in all, for example, in this new book I published, you can see hundreds of times of companies talking about squads. And maybe, just thinking out loud, this will become the de facto, the organizational structure of the future. So you use these diverse teams to bring this agility to deliver a software, but also to deliver a product in a crisis or to implement something in a time frame that you never thought it would be possible. Think always about that. I will talk in the future about tribes and other groups, but the squad is for me like the DNA of what we call agile and agility on our delivery. Think about that. I hope you had a great week and see you next week with another 5 Minutes podcast.